Hello, everyone. A very good evening to one and all. I am Hardika Joshi, and I welcome you back to the series of speaker sessions in How to Web 3.0 by Geeks for Geeks VIT Bhopal. The metaverse is a virtual world that mirrors the real one. From virtual reality to people getting married, metaverse is also becoming a lucrative industry in itself. To know more about it and to take this event forward, we have an amazing personality amongst us. He started early in life with computers and later discovered what the internet could bring to the world. He's a self taught coder, which led to a path of web development and emerging technologies. He got more involved in the startup culture from 2008 on working in the gaming industry and video streaming. He's also working with the metaverse and exploring its real life applications as the space moves into Web 3. Let us welcome Mr. James DiMeo.
Hi everyone. So this is my metaverse avatar that I created. I just thought it would be pretty cool to show you how easy it is to make an avatar for yourself. So later on in the presentation, I'll show you where to go to make your own. But for now, let me jump out of here so you guys can see who I am. There we go. Hi, and welcome to this presentation. Today we're going to be talking about Web 3.0, what it means, and how it will benefit you guys. Also, we're going to talk about the metaverse. What is it, and how can you get involved? A little bit about me. I've been in technology for about 25 years. Everything from the first computer, video game, all the way up to present day, now in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. I've worked with gaming companies and small businesses, but over the last 5 years, I've been focused on this technology, Web 3.0. So without further ado, let me jump into the presentation that I have for you guys today. So what exactly is Web 3.0? So in order to figure out what Web 3.0 is, we need to kind of jump back a little bit and learn how the internet started and what benefits or hangups it had. So Web.1 was more where businesses, individuals, and governments began to consume and occasionally post content on the web. The first browser came into play called Netscape and Microsoft Internet Explorer. It was sort of like the Wild West, and there were no really rules. But at the time, the connection was really slow. It was a baud modem, so you couldn't really explore too much outside of downloading a single web page, as opposed to communication with people all over the world. So then we jumped into Web 2. This is what you guys are used to today, really. It's where applications are built on the internet itself, as opposed to software that's used on your computer or Mac. This broadly expanded how we communicate today through search engines and social media platforms. And while it's wonderful and glorious, over the last few years, there's been a lot of contention over privacy and how your data is used. So this wonderful internet has become a little bit too much centralized and monitored by Big Brother or big corporations, big technologies. So what's 3.0? So 3.0 emerged with blockchain technology and ledgers, and how the data that you have is now your own. The storage, what you store on the internet isn't stored specifically on a Facebook server or a global data center. It's stored on another type of storage facility that is maintained on a peer-to-peer basis, meaning that little bits and pieces of your data is distributed across everybody in that network, so that not one person owns it. Ultimately, you own it. So basically, Web 3.0 levels the playing field and allows the user to control their data, how it's used, and you can now profit from it. If anybody out there uses Facebook, you're well aware that it's a free service. And it's a free service for a reason, because every single thing you do on Facebook is used for advertising, for marketing, to push their their profits higher, while you just continue to give them a constant source of content for them to use. Now, this is where things change. As we grow into this decentralized internet, more and more areas and platforms will develop that allow you to profit from your time and effort that you're putting into surfing the web or interacting with your friends and families. So let's jump into one part of Web3, which is the metaverse. I'm sure you guys have really heard about what like the metaverse and it's been kind of a buzzword, but let's talk a little bit about it. So the metaverse is basically a world where your digital self can reside. When I started the program, you saw kind of that cool avatar that I had. That's kind of reminiscent of a movie called Ready Player One. And in Ready Player One, it's a kid who's very into tech, and he likes to go to this digital world in which he can explore games and experiences, hang out with his friends, all as an avatar, something that he would like to represent himself as. There's marketplaces, and it's just anything that you can really imagine can happen in the metaverse. So, excuse me. So that quick little avatar of myself was made from snapping a picture from my camera and having the program mold my face, in which I was able to customize to how I wanted to look, similar to myself. Um, so basically, a metaverse is a digital world that you can walk around in and interact with. And also, you can build businesses or showcase your artwork. I'm sure some other presentations have talked about what an NFT is, which is a non-fungible token. It's a digital asset that you can create, and you can exchange them within these metaverses as goods or as wearables like a shirt or a shoe or a hat or even a car. It also offers venues of ownership. So personally, I have invested in some metaverses and I own digital real estate. I know that concept is pretty wild, but you can purchase digital real estate within these metaverses in which you can build anything you want on, and then people can go visit it. And this is becoming mainstream. I'm going to show you some examples in a moment. But I think the biggest thing and we're talking about games now. The biggest thing is a lot of kids and teens and adults, they play a lot of games, but they don't really get much out of the games. They are putting much into the games. What I mean is like if you want to upgrade something, you have to pay money for it. If you have nieces or nephews or even kids and they play Roblox or Minecraft, they're usually asking you for a little bit of money to upgrade whatever they want to upgrade. These are pay to play games. With the metaverse and the introduction of Web 3.0, with cryptocurrency and NFTs, you're able to spend that time interacting within these games and building things to profit from them. And I'm not speaking purely capitalistic. I'm just saying the developer of that game is not reaping all the benefits of you playing it. You actually have incentive to play the game to earn a profit from it, which is revolutionary to the games of the past. So let's jump into some of those examples. So some of the examples that I've been mentioning is like Sandbox, there's Decentraland, and there's Super World app, which is a revolutionary one. I'll go into a little bit more detail. But let's start with Sandbox, which is a very popular metaverse that started as an app on a phone, and it's transformed into this very creative universe, which you can be whomever you want, build whatever you want, and earn a little bit of profit doing it. So I'm going to jump out of my slide presentation for just a moment. Let's see here. Let's see if I can jump and just show you a little bit about it. So this may just look like a map, but each one of these little plots is actually a piece of land. And in that land, you can build a game or a gallery or a business. Over the last year or so, there's a lot of different companies that have gotten involved, like Atari, even some exchanges like Gemini. Um, but a lot of this has to do with the expansion of creativity into the metaverse, and this is just one. So I have a plot of land in which I am going to build an interactive school where kids and adults and teens can come to my school and learn about how to build within this metaverse or other metaverses. One of the other spaces is called Decentraland. Um, Decentraland is not up here. Let me just bring it up real fast. I thought I had it up here. Decentraland. Um, Now, what's cool about this metaverse is that they actually had concerts. You can see in the background here, they had the very first concert online within the Decentraland metaverse, which was so cool. And you're thinking, well, how can I get involved with that? Again, I think another a presenter talked about NFTs. NFTs are non-fungible tokens that you can purchase through different marketplaces, and they act as tickets. So you would buy an NFT, and you would be able to go to a concert in this digital space, which is crazy, right? And to add a layer to that, you can wear your Oculus VR goggles or whatever goggles you have, and then be completely immersed as if you were at that concert itself. Real quick, we're going to jump into this one. This metaverse is kind of unique because it uses another technology called augmented reality. So this application allows you to purchase the land on the earth as a digital asset. And then if people were to go to that location on the earth, they would see whatever you have built within that space. That's a little bit more complex to understand, but let's, for example, think you bought where the Eiffel Tower is. People would go to the Eiffel Tower, and then you could add a layer of creativity around it, maybe educational wise to tell the history about the Eiffel Tower, or set up a virtual kiosk where they can buy collectibles for the Eiffel Tower. I mean, the limits, it's unlimited as to what you can actually create. Lastly, I wanted to bring up an example that is sort of a little bit more closer to home. This is a virtual gallery that allows people to showcase some of their artwork. And I work with a lot of students that want to showcase their work, but they don't have access to galleries. They don't have access to any type of physical space that would be willing to showcase their work. So this is called Spatial.io, and it's a free virtual gallery that you can set up, and you can add any piece of artwork you want to, and then send that link to a friend or family or even a business, and they can go and they can actually walk through your gallery. And if they're interested in one of the pieces, they can actually buy it right from the gallery, and you get paid for it right to your wallet. I mean, what we're dealing with here with Web 3.0 is the freedom to bypass all corporate America, take control of the education, and just build these wonderful immersive inside these immersive platforms, so that you're competing with the big guys, and you don't have to be afraid to try, because it's really easy to get into. And that's what I'm trying to explain with Web 3.0. It's taking back the control of the internet, where you own the data, you own the part of you're getting the profits from your time and effort, and it's just going to get more and more and more exciting as the technology gets better. So I think I've kind of gone through Web 3.0 and a little bit of the metaverse, and I think I've gone a little quick. So you know what? If we could, I'd like to take maybe a few questions from the audience while I prepare my next part of this presentation. Is there any questions from the audience that I could answer? Let's see.
Thank you, sir. It was a very interactive and a beneficial session for all of us. We have a few questions.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's see here.
can we incorporate some sort of security mechanism that can restrict people from accessing the digital land that we buy?
Yes, absolutely. And that digital security depends on the platform that you are using. So in Sandbox, you need to have permissions to actually break the barrier between one plot of land and the other plot of land. But that's coming when they launch their platform. In Decentraland, it's the same thing. Sometimes you actually need access, like an access key to get onto a property. But again, right now it's very open source because they want to allow as many people to traverse their platform as possible. But yes, you can add security measures to prevent people from going into plots. Can we make our own version of the metaverse? Absolutely. Right now, developers are really excited to sprout up new and innovative ideas as to new metaverses. It's just you have to really have a good business plan as to what type of metaverse you want to build. I will say that just the startup cost to build your own metaverse is up there. But there are a lot of programs that will provide seed money if your idea and business plan is up to snuff. So if you guys have ideas about building metaverses and you need connections, I can be, my direct messages are open on LinkedIn. And also, you know what? I was going to put something on the marquee at the bottom. Can we let me put up my information that you guys can contact me. Can you put up this? This is my Twitter handle. If you want to just put that up on the bottom, and my DMs are open. If you guys have any questions after this or during this or whatever, just hit me up. And I'll be happy to either provide a resource for you or to point you in the right direction. All right, awesome. Let's see. Can we buy virtual land in the metaverse? Yes, you can buy virtual land in the metaverse. Again, it depends on which one. Sandbox is on OpenSea. So if you go to, let me go over here to OpenSea, just get you guys familiar with what this is. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So OpenSea is a marketplace. It's one of the largest NFT marketplaces. Again, I'm sure another presenter has talked about what a non-fungible token is, but I'll briefly tell you. It's a digital asset that you use in the metaverse. So if you want to buy a plot of land in Sandbox, you could just search for Sandbox, and you can see the different plots of land that can be purchased. Not only can you purchase land, but you can also purchase, digital assets and whatnot. The same thing for Decentraland. You can log into Decentraland and buy land there. Again, these are a little bit more complex ideas to discuss during this presentation, but if you're super interested in learning how to buy land in different metaverses, please hit me up, and I will definitely give you some information about that. Is the land okay? Yes, the land in Sandbox is limited to 166,000 plots of land. So there is a scarcity aspect to that, which makes the land more valuable. After all the land is purchased, usually the land value goes up. The same in real life, when there's a limited amount of real estate, prices do go up. Can you show us how you created your avatar? If you guys want to create your own avatar, you guys can go to readyplayer.me and you can sign up for an account. It's absolutely 100% free. Let me lock out here and I'll just show you. So I'll just, well, you have to sign up and, go through the activation code and everything, but let's see if I can do that real fast. All right, I don't know how fast this is going to work. Sorry, I'm taking time away from you guys. So yeah, just if you sign up real quick, and I haven't gotten my confirmation code yet. Here we go. Got my confirmation code, so I can show you guys real time. BKLHW. Oh no, did I do it wrong? You guys have me under the gun here, trying to do this quickly. H. Oh, okay. I don't know why this isn't working. But if you guys go to the website and just sign up, it's like a 3-step process. It asks you guys to take a picture of yourself, and then it'll convert you into that avatar that I showed you. Oh, here we go. I guess it's thinking about a photo. So real quick, I'll just choose this guy. I'm choosing not to use a photo, so I'm starting just from a random picture. And it'll then convert me into an avatar in which I can go through and I can change every aspect about myself I can change here. So what I'm wearing, crazy suits and stuff, my hairstyle, facial hair, everything, eyes, have lizard eyes, whatever. And then after you're done, it'll prepare your avatar, and then you can export it either into a virtual space, or you can download it to your computer, and you can do what I did for my presentation, where I can convert myself into that avatar, and then I can use it in presentations like this. I hope that helped. If not, again, if you want to walk through, just contact me and I'll help you. Okay. No, I actually like going through the questions and answers. It actually connects some of the information that I gave in the beginning. So let's keep rolling with this. When we'll be able to make a metaverse like the real world where we can live in it all our life? Okay, so whoever asked that question, I would look at look up a movie called Surrogates. And Surrogates is with Bruce Willis, and that's a movie that encompasses exactly what you said. People actually live in their homes in a machine, and they live their lives out actually for months at a time in the metaverse. Very creepy, but I hope we don't get to that point. Who would manage the metaverse as everything is decentralized? Okay, so let's be clear on what decentralization is. So decentralization is when everything is spread among everyone else. So when we're talking about like a decentralized blockchain or decentralized metaverse, it's where not one central entity owns that platform. So like Sandbox is completely decentralized, meaning that not one person owns the company. And they use what's called a DAO, a decentralized authorization organization. So that multiple people make decisions, and sometimes the players themselves, depending on how much they've invested within the platform, can have a vote in what decision the companies make. And so it's a more free way to make decisions instead of the CEO or the CFO, those C-class people making decisions for the entire platform. Hope that answers your question. How does investment in the digital land work out in contrast with legalities? Does it qualify as an asset on legal documents? Okay, so let's talk about what a digital asset is. Depending on what region of the world you live in, a digital asset could be considered a security. But if it has utility, then it's not a security. Now, again, this is a gray area. I'm not a financial expert. But the asset itself, so if you bought a plot of land, the plot of land is an NFT, and it's an asset that you own. There's no deed, right? For a traditional house, you have a deed that says, I own this house. But on the blockchain, you have a blockchain entry in the ledger that shows without a doubt that the wallet that you own is locked into blockchain that everyone has a copy of that states that you own that plot of land. So it's kind of just a new way to think. I think eventually real estate in the real world will be locked into a NFT contract, which would be immutable anywhere on the planet to show that you have ownership over something. Let's go to the next one. Would it be more profitable to flip NFTs and digital lands or make our own version of the metaverse? Okay, so flipping NFTs is sort of it's almost like being a stock trader. Okay, it's very difficult to tell what's going to be lucrative and what might just be a passing fad. So I'm not an NFT flipper. I'm an NFT collector. I believe long term in the entire ecosystem as a whole. And making your own version of the metaverse, just to be clear, the metaverse right now are little kind of pieces. I want to call them lily pads in a giant pond. And the giant pond would be the entire crypto ecosphere. Okay. And as these metaverses prop up, they're just these little lily pads. A true metaverse would be when one lily pad is next to another one, and you could just walk across. The interconnectivity or the usage between metaverses becomes seamless. In my mind, that's the true nature of what a metaverse is. When it doesn't matter where you're at or where you're playing or what platform it is, whether it be Sandbox or Decentraland or NFT World, whatever, you can just go from one to the next. That would be like a true metaverse. Again, just quick to answer your question, to make a metaverse is in the millions and multi-millions of dollars to actually create one that can to be able to handle hundreds of thousands of players. Okay, when will we be able to make a metaverse like the real world? I think I answered that one. Yeah, look up surrogates. Let's see. How a company can be created, metaverse will earn. Again, you can go to sandbox.net, sandbox.game and learn more about how you can earn money from games by playing the games and earning NFTs that can then be sold on the marketplace for people to buy. So basically, you play the game for free. You play someone's game in which you earn an NFT asset from the game, which is valuable if you've spent the time to find it. And then you take that item, it's in your inventory, then you can sell it on the marketplace for someone else to purchase. So you see, it was a free game. You spent the time to find that item, similar to like playing a Roblox game, but if you find an item, you can't really trade it for any real money. But in these games, you can trade it on the marketplace for real money for other people to use. So that's one of the benefits. Again, if you want to learn more about that, please hit me up. Sir, when will we be able to make a metaverse like the real world where we can live? Okay, I answered that one already. Follow-up question. So suppose I link my MetaMask and I have a gallery in some metaverse where I showcase my collection of digital art. Can it work like it does in the real world? Okay, so the example that I showed you, if you want to show my screen real fast. So Spatial.io, this is 100% free. If you want to go to Spatial.io, you can set up your own gallery, which connects to your MetaMask wallet if you choose, and you can pull that into a gallery just like this and sell your work. And you can there's other galleries too that you can do the same thing depending on what wallet you have, not to limit you to MetaMask. And I'd be more than happy to share those other platforms with you, and you can even show you how to set it up if you guys want. I'm here to help you guys get through this new technology, because education is key, man. And I hope you guys are benefiting from this. All right, let's see. What's the next question? Application 3. Okay, there's a follow-up question. You keep asking the same question. The application of Web 3.0 till now seems to be a path breaking, but are there any limitations stopping us from achieving the full potential of the metaverse? On the side note, James, I loved your. Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you for that. Are there any limits stopping us from achieving the full potential of the metaverse? I want to say no, and the reason why is because um, governments and big corporations, they've tried to come in and stop the innovation, but when it comes down to it, it's all the individuals that want to push this forward that's going to make it succeed. I don't know how many times they've tried to, overturn and regulate the internet as it is, and that's constantly been overthrown by your voice. Again, I don't know. Some parts of the world are very strict and stringent. I'm in the U.S., and as far as cryptocurrencies go, we're pretty strict as well. But I don't think there's any limitations. I don't think there's any way to really stop this from happening. I just think it's going to continue to grow. Okay. Are there companies selling products on the metaverse rather than Expedition? Yes, absolutely. That's what makes NFTs or non-fungible tokens so valuable, is that some artists, some very famous artists, or some developers have created assets and locations on the metaverse that don't exist in real life. And it makes them even more valuable. So you can only find, I hate calling out different project names, but I think the Board Yacht Club apes, they've been on television and stuff, and people have been talking about them. And people ask me, well, why is that picture so valuable? Why should I invest in that picture? And it's not just a picture. It's the ownership of that image, or that project, that gives you access to other areas in the real world. So whether it's like exclusive access to a restaurant or a venue or a concert or an event, that is more like a key to get into those events. So companies are selling the products in the metaverse or on the internet in like OpenSea, rather than in actual brick and mortar exhibits. All right, next question is, sir, when will I be able to? All right, you keep asking when you could live in real life. Let's see. Who will manage the metaverse? Everybody manages the metaverse. The metaverse is going to be the people that play the games or involve themselves in the projects are the owners of those projects. That's the whole key of being in a decentralized world. Sir, we have to pay some price for downloading our avatar. No, I didn't have to pay a price. I exported it as, if you're talking about Ready Player Me, you can just export it or share it with yourself. Again, if you're having difficulties with this, please DM me and I'll help you. Are there companies selling products on the metaverse? Yes, there are. Yes, that's me right there. Okay. Will we be able to be virtually immortal if we develop more? That's an interesting question. If you're big into sci-fi, I think there was a movie that this scientist digitized himself into his own avatar so that he could live forever, right? Well, or if you want to go way back, if you look at Lawnmower Man, if you want to Google that, Lawnmower Man was at the very beginning of virtual reality, the very beginning of even getting into digital technology. Um, and I won't spoil the movie for you, but yeah, that's fully immersing yourself to live forever, sort of thing. Let's see. How will a metaverse company will earn then? Well, a metaverse company earns by, it's a public company, right? So there's okay. So a company is made up in a giant pie chart, okay? And there's different slices of the pie that go towards funding different aspects of the company. similar to a traditional company. But as far as how the company runs and what gets billed and how it functions, that's sort of a different section. Like I want to, like, let's just say I want to be able to drive a car in my metaverse. Okay, well, instead of the top of the food chain deciding on that, they're going to reach out to those members that have invested in the company and ask for their votes. And those investors are usually the players of the game themselves or the companies that have invested into that game. So the company earns from the revenues of the marketplaces. They take a little fee when someone sells from their marketplace. This is a huge difference between how it's set up today. So if you guys know Roblox, if you're a developer, now I haven't been a developer for them in such a long time, but before it was like only the developer only made 30% of the total revenue from that company. The percentages may have changed today, but my point is that usually the developer of a large company that's not decentralized takes the larger lion's share of your efforts. And in these metaverse games, it flips, in which the people that are creating the content and creating the assets are making the lion's share of the profits. Let's see. I personally feel like investing in the metaverse is a risky move, and the success of metaverse would depend on how Facebook tries and makes it part of life, just how Facebook became one. Okay, well, that's a really good question. We talked a little bit about Web 1, 2, and 3, and how they've kind of differed, and we're sort of transitioning right now from a Web 2 to a Web 3. Web 2 has evolved into a very centralized experience online with the immersive social media, the constant push to have fresh content, and then that content is exploited for marketing dollars. So when Facebook came out with Meta, it did kind of springboard the attention to what metaverses are, but at the same time, I feel that Facebook is shifting for, let's just say, for alternative reasons. Okay, because in my opinion, the lack of privacy and the monitoring of Big Brother and the censorship got to sort of a heightened point where Mr. Zuckerberg actually was in front of Congress to explain what Facebook does and how it runs its business, that it was necessary to move into another direction, now Meta, to offset some of that centralization that was giving it sort of a negative view. So I wouldn't focus too much on Facebook. I mean, they do have 2 billion plus people using the platform. But again, in my opinion, I feel that Facebook is just bringing awareness to the metaverse. There's going to be so much more opportunity outside of that platform that gives the user the freedom to do what they want and not be censored or worried about their privacy being invaded or the profits for their time being taken from them. So I hope that answers your question. Are companies selling products on the metaverse rather than, yes, I answered that question. If in some way I accidentally lose the access to my MetaMask wallet, in that case, what happens to the piece of digital land I own? Are there any rules? Well, this sort of goes into a different type of presentation. This has to do with security and the pros and cons of a digital wallet. So cryptocurrency, crypto is like a mathematical protection, like cryptography. So you have to be very diligent in ensuring that you record all of your seed phrase words and also protect those with your life. Because if you lose those seed phrase words, there's no way to access that wallet again. And unfortunately, whatever assets are within that wallet are lost forever. And that's one of the dangers around getting into this. But it's really easy to have a plan and to protect that. So unfortunately, whatever land that you would have lost is just deserted wherever it lived on that metaverse. Um, yeah, there are no rules around it. It's just like if you lose it, it's gone. What application of Web 3.0 till now seems to be the path breaking? Oh, okay, that's a limitation. Yeah, there's no limitations there. Okay, Immortal. Can a startup be made into a metaverse? It's possible to develop it fully. Yeah. I keep mentioning Sandbox, guys. Sandbox started as an app on a phone, where simply I never used the app, but Sandbox started 11 years ago. I mean, that's like huge. 11 years ago, it started as a simple app on a phone. It went through iteration after iteration after iteration. Then it transformed from an app on the phone to a computer-based game. And then they transformed the computer-based game into Web 3.0, which incorporates, cryptocurrency. And they developed a new company called Sandbox, which is what it is today. And just so you guys know, you're early to the game here. You're early to any kind of metaverse. You're early to any type of getting involved with cryptocurrency. I would say there's probably 5 to 7% of the entire planet that even knows what cryptocurrency is at this point. And probably less than that that knows what an NFT is or the metaverse. So, yeah, yeah. Let's see, sir. How can I get to know everything about metaverse from creating to using? Please. Okay. So for that question, I'm actually coming out with an educational platform to teach just that. It's not ready yet, but if you follow me on Twitter, I'm going to be talking about I'm creating a foundation to help educate kids, teens, and college students about cryptocurrency, the metaverse, and everything about that. But what's different from where I sit is you can learn everything in the world, but if you don't have someone interacting with you, like I am with you guys today, and teaching it to you one-on-one or one to group, it just takes longer to absorb that information. So my platform will be a more interactive one. And if when you go through and finish your education, where you're learning about how to do an NFT project or how to build in the metaverse or how to build a metaverse, at the end of that, I offer a co-op which helps fund people that want to start their own business in cryptocurrency or in building within the metaverse or NFT projects. So hit me up on Twitter. I'll give you more information about that. Sir, what can be the greatest achievement hold of metaverse in the future? Okay. I don't know what consortium or consulate, but there's actually a consulate that was set up within Decentraland. So an actual body of governance was set up in Decentraland as a place to hold meetings for this particular company. And I would have to do a little bit of research to find which one that was. But just imagine that for a second. So instead of going to sit in a session in Congress to make decisions that affect the real lives of everyone in a city, you feel that it'd be better to congregate through virtual reality in a digital metaverse where everyone can be at the table despite where they live on the planet. So I think that is a huge achievement where there's no barrier to be part of a conversation. There's no slowing down, making decisions that affect people's lives. So we've created a way to we've increased the communication between people. We've eliminated the barrier to access information, sitting in a virtual room with your constituents to discuss important topics. I think that is a huge achievement for the metaverse. Let's see. Suppose Amazon services started selling on the metaverse. What would be the possible ways for payment purposes apart from NFT? Will everyone be able to see our purchase through blockchain? Nice presentation. Oh, thank you. Okay, so that's a few questions there. Let's see. Amazon services start selling on the metaverse. So you're talking about like Amazon buys a plot of land, they build the Amazon store where you can virtually go to it and pick products just like you were from the Amazon store. That's a possibility, absolutely. Um, and payment processing is based on the blockchain of what the metaverse is built on. So, for example, Sandbox is Ethereum and Polygon. That's the currency that they use. Um, Sand is their token that they use. So for each metaverse, they have their own type of currency. Now, Amazon has to choose if they're either going to get into cryptocurrency, which is still on the fence, or if they're going to create their own currency. Again, this is a more complicated conversation, but I think simply if Amazon got involved with the metaverse, I think it would just open up new ways to shop multiple, it'll help Amazon, sure, but I think more and more other companies will bypass Amazon because Amazon charges a huge amount of fees to be on Amazon, and they'll start up their own digital stores, which literally costs them, they buy a plot of land, they build a store, and then all the mechanisms and all the ways to sell their products is provided to you through a little bit of education. So now I think there'll be a shift from Amazon because you'll be getting a 60% of your profits as opposed to giving 60% to Amazon. What was the other part of that question? Will everyone be able to see our purchase through the blockchain? No, I'm going to say no, and because there are ways, but the way that transactions happen on the blockchain are you can use explorers to find information about transactions, but you almost have to be a cryptologist to go through some of the way that transactions happen through a blockchain. It's very complex to track. But I would say it probably could be possible, but not to the average person. Okay, let's see. Would Metaverse be safe for using it on a daily basis in an era of technology where personal data of people is being sold and showcased? Okay, so this brings us back to decentralization. So when you connect, when you sign up for Amazon, when you sign up for Facebook, when you sign up for Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be, okay, so you're adding an email address and now you're just a number within their database. Everything you do, everything you type, everything you say is recorded into a database within those companies, okay? When you're in a decentralized environment, everything you do is stored in the wallet that you own. You own the public and private keys, right, to that wallet. So all of your assets, all your communications, all that kind of stuff is stored within your wallet. And no one has access to it unless you give them permission to have access to that information. Okay, so living in a more decentralized world, that means more privacy and less of these companies using your private information for their gain. Okay, do you think Meta will negatively impact our real lives? Let's see. I think too much of anything is not good for you. But in the same regards, I think it's going to open more doors than close them. And here's what I mean by that. By reducing the barrier to get access and communication, people with special needs, people that have learning disabilities, people that are maybe an amputee or quadriplegic, they can't move or whatever, they now have access, to a world that they may not have access to before. Okay. Now for the people that have all their, they're healthy people and maybe they spend a little bit too much time on the internet. I think the metaverse is going to equalize that. When you're on your phone and you're staring at your phone, I think it's a real problem I don't think the metaverse is going to negatively impact our lives. I think it's going to enhance our lives. Uh, yeah, I think more people are going to shy away from, the Facebooks of the world and the Instagrams and, oh, I got to post my food, or I got to, I think that trend is going to change, because now in the metaverse you can be actually immersed in it, where you're not just staring at a phone. You're walking through a world, you're picking up items, you're facing another person in this world, and you're having a conversation face to face. I think it's going to be a different experience. So, but again, too much of anything is not good. But I think that this is going to be a nice transition to how we're currently communicating with our devices. Okay, I think there's one more question at the bottom. Is there any difference between playing games with others on the metaverse and playing the online multiplayer games that we usually play? Yes, there is. I am an avid gamer, so I started playing, like, Sega Genesis and all that stuff, and then I got really into War of Warcraft. Um, it's a multiplayer, a massive multiplayer online game, and it was a lot of fun to play. And I had the groups of friends that would play with me, and wonderful to go through and tackle different objectives. But after the game was over, um, I sort of thought, well, that was fun, but what did I really accomplish? Did I raised my XP a few 100 points. I got a new sword. Oh, we conquered this enemy. But a part of me was I didn't really achieve much. And as I got older, those games sort of fell away, because I wasn't really getting a lot out of the game, except for the uh, the initial experience, playing the battles. So what the metaverse is going to add is a layer of there's more than just the objective. Okay, you can actually build things that will enhance your in real life goals. You could spend 8 hours building a world, or a very interactive game, and then have people play that game like an arcade game, and they would pay you $1 every play. So now all that time and effort that you put into that game will now pay you dividends. Or if you play with other people in maybe a huge game in a metaverse and you guys win, there's like a prize at the end that's worth it. There's a prize in the end where you can say, I achieved something, and I'm walking away that game with not just the win, but with a little bit of money in my pocket, and the prestige to know that I accomplished that. So I think the metaverse is going to be a completely different experience. I hope Fortnite and some of the other games out there that are super popular sort of go into the play to earn right now. I mean, I don't know how many times I hear, oh, my daughter just bought a new skin for like $25, but it doesn't really do anything in the game. It's just like pretty. But anyway, this is my opinion. Let's see. I think we have like 6 minutes left. I've been really having a great time answering all your questions. I just want to make sure that we're good with time. Let me see here. Yeah, see that? Awesome. All right. Let's see. Questions. Do you believe Neuralink could be linked to the metaverse and people with visual disabilities be able to virtually see? Um, Elon Musk. I've done a little bit of research on Neuralink, and I mean, it's crazy to think that he wants one of those in everyone's homes. The technology is not proven. I think it's very way out there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want those things plugged into my brain. I think technology will always progress. Again, I'm a little bit hesitant because now you're getting into that. You're still in that corporate realm where Elon's company would own Neuralink, which is directed to your brain. It's not really decentralized. I don't know. There's a lot of complexities there. Hopefully, in a perfect world, that technology will aid in the disability for people. But for right now, the visual or audio or haptic way of getting into the metaverse is something that can be used now today. Now, do I play Halo? Yeah, when I was 28, I played Halo. I actually have the original Xbox Special Edition green translucent Xbox. Let's see. How and by when would we be able to develop the metaverse into a complete artificial world where we can do everything that we want to in the real world, or will the metaverse stay like a secondary world? Okay, well, you can see how we have progressed 10 years ago to today. I remember when Oculus first came out. I played Minecraft and it was real cool. I would spend hours building my worlds and whatnot. But then when Oculus came out, I was able to walk in my worlds and build my worlds with my own hands. And it was at that moment that I was like, wow, we have really transcended into another dimension of interactivity with games. So to answer your question, I think we will continue to evolve the metaverse to be more like the real world. But you have to think about that for a second. Would you really want the digital world to be exactly like the real world, or would you like it to be different? Would you like the ability to be whoever you want to be a different person, so that you can explore maybe a different direction in your life, or maybe do some things that you couldn't do in the real life that you can there. Personally, I like the divide. I mean, if the graphics get better, if the technology gets better, if the interactivity gets better, wonderful. But personally, I'd like to keep them separate. But that's just me. Last question. Well, almost last question. Will metaverse really be a thing in the future, or is it just a hype for a small time? No, the metaverse is here to stay, and I'll tell you why. We went through a very tough year. Well, a few years. 2020 with the pandemic, and then I call it pandemic 2 with 2021. There's a lot of insecurities in the way that we communicate or interact around the world. Personally, my family was affected. Companies shut down. My wife is permanently remote, and a lot of companies are permanently remote. So we're losing that connectivity there. I think metaverse, like I said in my presentation, is just a term. The metaverses of the world will eventually unite as one, as far as games and companies and businesses, so that you can transverse them all seamlessly, no matter what platform you're on. And I think that's the future, especially if this pandemic continues the way it is. This will be a way for us as a human race to communicate easily. So I hope that answers your question. What should be the first step to start a metaverse journey? Hit me up in DM. I'll send you some great links as to how to start it. Whether it's jumping into a game or just learning it. I mean, the actual first step is to set up like a wallet, because every metaverse requires a wallet for you to interact with it. How can digital art be sold or bought and used? Again, digital art can be sold in different platforms, different metaverses, different galleries. OpenSea.io, you can sell your art there. We're at an hour, so I don't know how much more time. I mean, I'm happy to continue answering questions, but just want to see where we are in time here. We're good to take questions. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so digital art can be sold on many platforms. Like I saw, OpenSea.io is a good place. I am a supporter of Cardano. Cardano is another blockchain, and they have their own sort of galleries. But anyone hit me up on my Twitter at One Busy Guy. Hit my DMs up. I'd be happy to answer questions, send you links, whatever you need. I want to get this education out there. I want you guys to get involved. Let's see. Mm, Considering everything cryptocurrency, computation, and metaverse and blockchain technology, there is so much of energy and data needed. Maybe we need a way to miniaturize data to sustain energy. Okay, well that's interesting. Um, Getting into cryptocurrency, there's different ways to do it. So there's um, proof of work and there's proof of stake. Proof of work is like Bitcoin right now, where it takes a lot of energy, to mine and to find blocks, to generate blocks on the chain. And a lot of people have said, it's really bad for the environment, um, mining all these blocks. But what people really don't see is it's sort of when governments are against the technology themselves, they make excuses or try to make excuses about how it's bad for the environment. I know of multiple different companies that use renewable resources like solar energy, geothermal energy, hydro energy. They build their data centers around these types of places to generate electricity so that it does not put a strain on our grids. Um, so miniaturizing or the data to sustain energy, people are moving to the other thing, which is called proof of stake. Proof of stake is uh, validating blocks uh, by just staking or holding your cryptocurrency on a server or a node so that you don't have to use the energy to mine new blocks. Again, these are more complex questions, and I can answer them in more detail if you guys DM me. Let's see. Oh, okay. It looks like if you have more questions, DM me. Thank you, sir. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we're out of time. I really appreciate having the opportunity to talk to everyone at this presentation. It's been a really awesome experience for me. I want to thank everyone that put this together. You guys did a really awesome guy. Geeks for Geeks, VIT. Oh my God, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for all the valuable information you shared with us today in this amazing session. The session was quite interactive, and I feel that you've answered all the questions. If they want to know more, they can hit you up. Now, we come to the end of this lively gathering. I would like to thank all of you for being with us. Prior to winding it up, a few words of warmth to everyone. We hope you all had an amazing time. Thank you.